How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin back with another video. Today we're back in the woods here. It's really cold. It's only about 20 some degrees right now. But we're going to try to cut some of this black walnut. You guys remember the old walnut tree I've been cutting off of to make knife handles? Well, we're going to try to get some bigger chunks of this wood to see if we can make some really nice chop blocks out of it. So that's going to be our project right now. We're going to be cutting some rounds here. I'm going to try to get them 3 to 4 inches thick if I can. So we'll see. This is going to be a tough one, but I think we could do it. we got us a few rounds here. I think we got a few good ones. We'll just have to go over them and pick out the best ones and make us a couple nice chop blocks. Alright, we got our rounds stacked up over there, and we're going to get ready to start building this jig to put our rounds in. And we're going to be using this birch plywood. This is a really good strong plywood. We're going to build us a jig out of this, and I'm going to try to get it to where, well, I'm going to cut this 24 inches by 24 inches. It should be able to do a round pretty close to that size when this jig is built. So, and this is basically so we can stick a router on the top of this and be able to round the top and the bottom of those rounds so we can make them cutting boards. So let's get working on this piece right here. Okay, so now we're going to cut our sides, and this is going to be 5.5 inches high, these sides here. So we're going to strip some boards 5.5 inches. Alright, I went ahead and cut some of these side boards to length, what I think I'm going to need there. And this is kind of how this jig is going to sit up. We want this round to be in here. So we can actually do a bigger round in here than what these are. But once we get this built, then I'll show you the piece that we're going to build that goes over the top, so we can stick our router in there, stick our edge down, and cut this. Now, I made this a little bit taller than I thought I needed, but we could always take a piece of that 3/4 inch plywood and set it in the bottom to raise it up. 3/4 of an inch will work if our round is too high, or we can take the 3/4 out and just run it down as the router down as low as we can. So hopefully this is going to work. We'll see. I never built one before, but I have built the cutting boards, but I think this will save a lot of sanding, and we'll be able to get that really nice and level across the top. Well, the first part of our jig is built. Now, this is the piece that we're going to need next. So we're going to be cutting a couple pieces of this angle iron. This is just an old bed rail we had laying out back of the barn. We're going to cut it up and use it as the track for the router to set on. Now that we got our two long pieces cut, I have another piece of this bed rail, the leftovers. I got to cut two short pieces. These here, in my case, are going to be about 6 1/8 inches long. 6 1/8 inch long. Well, after cutting all of our pieces
This is about all we have left out of one bed rail, which is pretty cool because this was in the garbage. It was thrown away and we recycled it into these pieces pretty soon to be into my jig. Alright, I'm going to do some cleanup on these ends of this metal because we're going to be welding on it. So I'm going to get them cleaned up real quick and then we'll come back, get this set up and get it welded together. Alright, I'm just working on this edge, sanding this down nice and smooth, the top of this. Not too much, just getting it smooth. We got everything pretty much done. I cut this piece of wood and we're going to place this piece of wood right in the bottom here. And what this piece of wood here is going to do is this piece of wood will give us 3/4 of an inch more height. We could always take this out when we don't need it. Say like we got a thicker piece of wood, we could take it out. But I think I could use this in there right now. So I'm going to screw that down in there. So if we screw this down in here, we'll be able to remove it when we get a thicker piece of wood. I actually made the box 3/4 of an inch thicker than what I wanted it. Okay, so now our height, we got less room in the box, but our round is smaller, so I'm going to get that set up there so you can see what it's going to look like. What we want to do is pick the flattest part of the tree and put down. So I got to see if this will go over top of this without hitting, and it's going to hit. So let's see. So we're going to have to take it out for this, but we'll keep that plate, that wood down under there, because see, we don't want it to hit this block. We don't want this to hit that block. We'll take it out, and then maybe once we clean this side up, we might have to put it back in. So let's take that back out of there. Now I actually thought about another piece that I could build for this with this, because this thing wobbles a little bit. We're gonna have to wedge this up a little bit so it stays in one place. We don't want it to move when we're routing it. So we're gonna have to figure out something there for now. But I do have something I could do to it. I might just drive a screw through the side of it for right now just to see how it would work. So that tightened it up actually pretty good right there. It's not moving, so we might be able to try it right there with one screw holding it into place. Now, like I said, once we get this side all routed down, then we'll flip it over and route the other side. So what I'll do here is I'm going to set my router for the deepest part where it will touch. And this router is all the way down right now. So we're going to have to take off what we can with this now, and then we'll take our board and set up underneath of it and lift it up and see if we can take up some of that space and get it down again. I think it's time to just give it a shot. We know this router is not digging deep enough, so I think we'll be okay. This looks so much nicer than the chainsaw cut. See, this is a lot nicer side, I think, here. So we'll go ahead and we'll screw this down. I'm not liking the screw in there. I don't know if it'll just sit in there. It might just sit. It feels pretty level. Maybe we'll try it without screwing it down. I don't like putting the holes in it. All right, we put our block of wood down in there, our 3/4 inch, raise this up 3/4 of an inch. Now we're gonna, I didn't put any screws through this. I don't really think that's a good idea. I'm just gonna see if it'll go ahead and work this down without putting it. It's pretty heavy, so we'll see. Alright, there's our, this should make a pretty nice cutting board, I think. And it's pretty good front and back, but the back of it, I still got a little piece here, but I'm not going to take it down. This is going to be the bottom. This will be the top. This is the better looking side, and we're going to leave this as the top. So that's how I'll be able to cut these cutting boards, be able to get them down to at least where I can start sanding them. So I think the jig overall worked out pretty good. I probably still have some bugs to work out on it, but I think we did a pretty good job getting that thing at a good height, you know, all the same height. I tell you, when I did the other cutting boards, the wee little ones, I really had a hard time sanding them down because of the chainsaw marks. And that cutting board there is 3 1/4 inches thick. That would probably be almost the smallest one I could make. I probably could get it down to about 3 inches thick, but that's about as thin as I can get them. Unless I keep stacking these 3/4 inch blocks in the bottom and raising it up. but I think it worked out okay. Well, you guys got to see the jig work, and I think it did what it was supposed to do. I want to try to make some really nice cutting boards out of these big rounds. I think they'll be really nice. If you guys are wanting to see these made into cutting boards, I'm going to do my best to make a good video on turning these into nice cutting boards. So I would like to tell everybody, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.